You can budget, save, and do everything you're supposed to do with money and still be wasting it. And it's probably not on what you think. I'm not talking about the $6 coffee or even the streaming services you forgot to cancel. Those are fairly easy to catch, and often they can be pretty cheap in the grand scheme of things. What I'm talking about in this video are the things that you are intentionally spending money on for reasons that sound smart, and the kind of purchases you defend if somebody called you out on them. See, I've studied personal finance for over a decade and spent years working in asset and wealth management, and I've still done all four of these. And that's kind of the point. Every one of them can feel like a good decision while you're making it, which is what makes it so easy to miss. So let's jump right in. We all know someone who's done this. They're paying $30 a month for a gym membership, and one day they run the numbers. They say, $30 a month is $360 a year, so why am I renting this when I can just own it? So they buy the treadmill, the weights, maybe a stationary bike, they cancel the membership, and for about a week or two, it's great. Then life gets busy, and the treadmill turns into an expensive coat rack, and the rest of the equipment never gets used. That's the first one. Money you spend in order to save money. And I'm not throwing stones here. I've dreamed about building a home gym plenty of times, and I've even bought exercise bands and other equipment myself that I barely ended up using. The math is genuinely convincing, which is the whole problem, because the logic isn't wrong. The membership is just the flexible option. You can cancel it and pick it back up in 6 months when life calms down, but the equipment in your basement, it doesn't work the same way. An investment in something like a home gym only pays off if you actually use it. So before you spend money to save money, be honest about whether you'll use it enough to ever get there. So does that mean you should always go cheap? Not exactly, because that's the second one. Years ago, I was in a bind and trying to save money, so I bought a car that was already about 11 years old. I saved a lot up front, and I felt like it was the right decision at the time. And then I paid thousands in maintenance over the year that I owned it until I finally sold it and bought something else. The cheaper option ended up costing way more than the right one would have. And you've probably done a smaller version of this. The cheap t-shirt that shrinks and wears out after a few washes, so you give it away and buy another one. The smaller appliance you bought because it costs less, and then a few months in, you realize it doesn't actually do what you need, so you replace it with the bigger one that you should have gotten in the first place. Cheap things might seem attractive up front, but often all that you're doing is delaying additional spending until a later date. And that leads me to the next one. When my wife and I were getting married, I remember building our registry and putting all these appliances on it. Air fryer, blender, the whole thing. And we were blessed to actually get a lot of them. At the time, I wasn't really cooking, but I wanted to be someone who did. Some of the appliances we got sat and took up space for years. And we use a lot of them now, so it eventually worked out, but looking back, those purchases were more aspirational than practical. And that's the third one, paying for the person you fully intend to become. It's the premium gym membership you sign up for, hoping the money leaving your account every month will guilt you into going. It's the high-end pots and food processor you buy to become someone who cooks, while DoorDash keeps mysteriously showing up at the door. And sometimes this genuinely works. Sometimes buying the thing is what finally gets you moving, and I'm not going to pretend that that never happens. But half of new gym members quit within 6 months. So it's worth asking yourself before you spend the money whether the purchase is actually going to change your behavior. Because if it doesn't, all you're left with is less money and the same habits. And real quick, if you found this helpful, I send a free newsletter every couple of weeks with ideas just like this one. The link's in the description if you want to check it out. Which leads me to the fourth one. Over the years, I've bought a good number of books, half-price books, Amazon, wherever. Most of them I never got through more than a couple of pages, and some I never even started. Meanwhile, over the past several years, I've gone through more than 40 audiobooks using an app called Libby, which is free. And if I'm being honest with myself, I do better with audiobooks anyway, so buying stacks of physical books doesn't really make much sense for me, but I've still done it. And that's the next one, books you're going to read someday. And this one hides well because each one might not be too expensive. It feels smart and wise because you know all the great benefits of reading books, so you keep buying. And that's what ties all four of these together. None of them are careless. Every one of them was a decision that made sense when you made it. And that's what makes them so hard to catch, and it's why most people never go back and look at them again. Every one of these could have been caught in the same moment, which is right before the purchase. And there's one very powerful question that you can ask yourself that can stop them from ever happening. Check out this video on the screen where I break that down. If this was helpful, remember to like and subscribe so that you don't miss future uploads. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.